like stuff either. Including to us.
We are back in executive committee. I need a motion to, for Mike's contract. Can I get a motion? Motion by Harris. John, you're not on executive, sorry. Second by Longfellow. So executive committee, the resolution in our packet says whereas the agreement extends the effective date till November of 2024. That's incorrect. So I need a motion to say that till 2025. A motion by Harris for the amendment. And a second by Longfellow. This is on the amendment. That's just correcting it to November 30th of 25. Any questions? On the resolution.
The resolution we got, Mr. Chairman, has 2025.
Okay, so that's the revised one. Okay, I think the one in our packet though, the executive agenda that came out. So let's just vote on that so we don't have any issues. All those in favor of changing that to 25 signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Amendment passes. Now back to the resolution.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make an amendment to this resolution.
Yes.
To extend for 20 weeks of severance type benefits. I don't know how to term it, how to word it, but you know what I'm saying.
Correct.
That
Mike,
would
can you
be-
help us on that language to put the 4 months severance at the end of the contract if it would expire? You can, okay. So executive committee, do you understand the language that we're adding here? That if Mike's contract, if he's still here November 30th of 2025, and we've not negotiated a new contract, he would get 4 months severance for the contract. Greg?
Just to be clear, I heard Nick said 20 weeks. That's not what he said.
4 months, I mean,
Isn't it?
That's 16 weeks.
okay.
Whatever the statute says, whatever we have, I thought it was 20 weeks.
It may be 20 weeks, I mean, I do thought it was 4 months.
Whatever,
Yeah.
that's my intention, is what,
Okay.
to follow the statute.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
So would it be the same period of severance already in the contract, is that being said? Just
Yes.
that it would apply if the contract terminates, correct?
Yes. Okay, so motion by Nick, second by Greg on the language. Everybody understand the amendment? We're still in executive committee. All those in favor of severance at the end of the contract signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. Roll call.
Roll call. Sandy?
Vice Chair Harris?
Nay.
Atkins?
Nay.
Kraft?
Yes.
Hall? Longfellow?
Yes.
Middle?
No.
Mingus?
Yes.
Frail?
Yes.
Christensen?
Yes.
Schneider?
No.
Okay, the amendment passes. So we're back to the resolution as amended twice. Any questions on it in executive committee? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. Roll call.
Atkins?
Nay.
Kraft?
Yes.
Longfellow?
Yes.
Middle?
Yes.
Mingus?
Yes.
Frail?
Yes.
Christensen?
Yes.
Schneider?
Nay.
Vice Chair Harris?
Nay.
All right, motion passes. Well, we are out of executive committee, and we are down to the consent agenda. Item 16 will automatically be pulled. Nine will be pulled. Anything else?
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Let's see, 4, 5, 9, what was the other one there?
16 just came out of committee. Any others?
13.
13? Okay. So right now I have 4, 5, 9, 13, and 16. Anything else? Can I get a remote motion on the remainder? Motion by Rich Stimson, second by Nelms. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Can I get a motion for the 2 appointments, 17 and 18? Motion by Sin, second by Atkins. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Appointments pass. All right, back to our agenda. LU 2411, item 4. Can I get a motion to get this on the floor? Motion by Atkins, second by Crawford. Mike, you pulled these?
Yes, I did. I'm gonna vote against them. I know the state has control and all that. I just don't like how it's going about, how the state lets anything go just so they can get the solar farms. They're taking prime farmland. I'm against them, so only both of them.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Greg?
I was gonna pull both of them anyhow because we did not get minutes on either one of the, on land use, so anything that we don't have minutes, I think we should pull and we have opportunity to discuss. On this first one, it is not prime farm ground, it is, in fact, it may be tough to get the pollinator mix to grow on this without irrigation and stuff like that. It is a non-irrigated section of a field in more sandier ground. If you're looking, I mean, I'm not hepped up on solar farms either, but if you're looking for ground that's not good, this ground is not good as far as production without water. Now, I'm not sure if water can't, is way, testimony was the way the irrigation units went, this was an area that was not hit. So getting crops on this was limited, so.
All right, any other comments or questions? Russ?
Well, you all know that I've not been a fan of the state, nor the solar farms, nor the wind farms, if they're in locations which are not beneficial. If they are in locations that are beneficial, I support them. But Mr. Sin is correct when he says here, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe the vote was unanimous except for one vote on land use to approve, to recommend approval to the county board. Whoever said this is not prime land, that's an understatement. This is almost not farmland. This is like farm sand, and you're screwed without irrigation. So anyway, and one other thing, we approved this before. In fact, we approved this back before the state got involved, and the state made things easier for the petitioner. So it was harder for the petitioner, and we approved it then. So I support this, thank you.
Nancy?
A correction, I didn't.
Can you use your mic?
I did see the minutes for land use for both of these, and I don't know if it was in our agenda, in today's packet, or in land use notes, but we do have minutes for those.
All right, any other questions? So if you vote yes, the solar farm is approved. No, it's not. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Can you raise your hands, please? Motion passes. Can I get a motion for LU 2412, the other solar case? Motion by Crawford, second by Atkins. So it's on the floor. Any other comments or questions? Russ?
Just quickly, I won't say as much, but, this also was approved before, when the restrictions or, the conditions or criteria, that's the word I'm looking for, sorry, was greater, was harder, and it was approved, I support it, thanks.
All right. Ned? Tammy?
I just have a question on these that our older is, you know, it's been asked at some of these recent ones, why is it taking so long? Like if it's 6 years old, you know, is it really gonna happen? Like, you know, we listen to some of them, they're like, yeah, we've done all this work, we're a year away and we keep doing these extensions, but are they really a year away, or, you know, are they 5 or 6 years old? That's just my concern.
I don't know the specific answer. I think this MISO, it's the electrical kind of governing group. Sometimes it can take up to 5 years to get permission to get into the infrastructure. Jackie, is anything you want to add to that?
So that could be one of the items that's taking so long. We had the lottery previously and no projects in Tazewell County were approved. That kind of bogged up the approval process. So where it may have been a year to a year and a half to get interconnection previously, now it could be 5 years. So just now these projects that can actually come to fruition are finally making their way to that space.
Russ?
I obviously agree with Jackie. I basically want to tell the board that, you know, maybe some of the delay is, you could put at the foot of the petitioner, but most of the delay is not. It's because of the state and the lottery system, and the state really didn't know what they were doing when they set this up, and they've been sort of building the plane while they're flying it, and we've been the victims. Counties have. Thanks.
All right. John?
So do we have an answer on this one though? What their holdup? I was not able to make the land use, and I also didn't see the minutes from it. So do we know anything about this one?
Jackie, do you have some specifics on this one?
So I would say initially this was a part of the lottery. It was first approved in 2018. Then two extensions were approved. So I think again, it's just now having the funding to move forward with it without maybe those incentives that they previously relied on.
I'll just follow up. I guess I'm going to vote no on this. I mean, at this point, 6 years in, they should come back to us when they're ready, I think.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Raise your hand. Motion passes. All right, E2459, the election judge list. Can I get a motion to get this on the floor? Motion by Atkins, second by Longfellow.
Yeah, this is for amendment updated for election judges, Groveland Township 8. It's a new member for the election day workers.
All right, so there's an amendment to add a few more election judges. Can I get a second to that amendment? Motion by Harris. Yes, Bill?
Do we have the 2 additional election judges listed somewhere?
I think it's listed in your packet, yes.
I think there's just one.
There's more than one. There's 4 of them, and they're at your spot. Yeah, there's 4 of them in 3 different precincts.
All right, I missed that. Thank you.
Yes, Mike?
I thought, when I looked at this, it's gonna cover the whole county. It just covers Groveland, Morton, Peak, right?
No, in your packet is the Republican and Democrat list for the entire county. These are just the amended sheets that are adding 4 additional judges that come in.
I don't have that either.
In your packet is the larger list, about 80 pages.
No, I don't have that.
All right, so on the amendment to add the additional judges, is there any more questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Not the whole.
Back to the resolution as amended. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item 13, can I get a motion for E2488? Motion by Atkins, second by Mennel. Mark, I think you pulled this.
Was just trying to get some clarity on what that means. Did we buy some land on Broadway when we redid it and then give it back to the sellers?
That's my understanding from the Broadway project. County engineer Parr has been handling this project and may be better suited to answer the questions.
Dan?
About 4 months after we started Broadway, after we had sent construction plans to all the utilities to review and give us information as far as whether there were going to be issues as far as the proposed right-of-way. So we purchased the right-of-way, got into the construction of the project, and we were notified by Energy Transfer Panhandle Pipeline Company that our acquisition of that additional right-of-way took them out of federal compliance as far as the amount of cover and design characteristics of what needed to be encased. So there was no encasement in the additional right-of-way we purchased. So they said, and really they should have given us sooner notification, but we made it work. In this particular, on the north side, it was Sherman. On the south side, it was Dawson. I've communicated with those people and said, hey, we need to put the right of way back where it was, 50 feet either side of this pipeline in order to bring Panhandle Pipeline Company back into federal compliance. If we didn't do this, Energy Transfer was indicating that there would be a cost of about $440,000 to put 2 valves in on both sides in order to shut the line off long enough for them to reinforce the pipeline to federal standards. So it was either this or $440,000.
This.
Well, what was the cost of this? We purchased the land from 2 different sellers, but now we're giving it back to them.
We are.
And what's the cost of that? What did we pay?
Probably about $3,000 or $4,000.
$3,000 or $4,000?
$3,000 or $4,000.
Each piece or?
Both. So here we made a molehill out of a mountain.
Okay, any other questions?
Did I make the mold?
No. I think that was
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that was
I
good.
didn't know.
That was a good catch. I mean, I appreciate the clarification. So, any other questions? Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Item 16, can I get a motion to get Mike's contract on the floor? Motion by Nels. Can I get a second by Crawford? Any questions? Max?
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, and I'm really just talking to Mike. I did not love the way this went down. We really hammered out in closed session of what I thought was a good contract. I know it wasn't everything that you wanted. And then we came back here and then added stuff after the committee had debated it, straw polled it, brought it here, and now we're in this situation where I unfortunately have to vote against your contract, even though I think you're doing a very good job. And he didn't want to have to do that. I just don't love this process. When it comes to contracts and things like this, when they have to be behind closed, when we have to do them in executive session, they should come out cleaner than this. And unfortunately it didn't, and so I just won't support it. But I do support the work that you do here. So thank you.
Bill?
I'd like to move to amend by deleting the second amendment that was adopted by the executive committee.
On the severance. Is there a second? Second by
I'll
Crawford.
second that.
Any discussion? This was to add the severance at the end of the contract. Nick?
Since I'm the one that sponsored it in committee, if this contract is renewed, what we're talking about now is meaningless. There's no bearing on it. If something happens, if you look at it from Mike's standpoint, he reaches a point in his contract, if we don't renew it in June and things go awry, it almost forces him to leave if we don't have these provisions in place. What we're trying to do is protect our employee by giving him what he was given in his original contract. If we decide not to renew it, and I hope we don't, those protections are going away. I don't understand why this is such a problem. Did I just miss? I'm sorry. This needs to stay to protect our employee.
Bill?
The reason that I'm offering this particular amendment is that I believe that the amount that we're giving him is sufficient. I don't think that there needs to be the additional, I think it's 4 months that what we finally arrived at for the amendment. I don't think that is necessary with the additional money. I don't begrudge Mike anything that we're proposing in the contract as it was presented to us, even with the change to November. I don't have any problem with any of that. It's all acceptable. This is the only part of it that I find to be a problem. So I would like for this to be something I can vote in favor of. If this stays in, I'm gonna have to be a no vote on it, and I would rather not be a no vote.
Greg?
I guess I would like a longer contract, but I'm not hearing that may not happen. I like Nick's alternative because it gives closer to a longer contract. And again, as Nick said, when we renew it, it's gone, because we can make the contract a different length and hopefully a longer length and stuff like that wouldn't need this variable in. So as in lieu of maybe a longer contract, I would support Nick's amendment.
Russ?
Briefly,
Can you use your microphone, Russ?
oh, I'm sorry.
So the reason I seconded Bill's motion is because we spent a long, like Max said, we spent a long time in the committee. We hammered out everything. In all fairness, Nick was there and did not make that amendment. And I thought we were pretty comfortable, even though we couldn't vote. I thought it would probably be most of the committee had supported where we finally ended up, with a lot of your leadership, Dave, through going through it 3 times. So what I'm basically saying is I'm against this little snooker move from my friend Nick to squeeze this in at the last minute. Thank you.
And
Mark?
why don't we just, since this is just an amendment to add on to the contract that you guys all worked so hard on, why don't we just ask Mike? Is it a deal breaker? You don't even know what it is, maybe. I don't know.
Shit.
Go ahead. You know, this is always one of those awkward moments where you had to try to lobby for yourself every couple of years, and so just doing that process has been an honor to be able to serve the board and the Tazewell County citizens, and certainly welcome any opportunity to be able to continue to do that. With that said, I would say typically when my contract was awarded, when I first started, it was a 3-year contract, and historically contracts of my position are 3 to 5 years. So that's where, when asked what I would like, I shot on the high side. Ideally, I would prefer to have a 5-year contract, but realistically, 3 years is typically what you see. And this goes to what Nick said. Generally, you have negotiations in the final year of the contract. In that 1 year to 6 month range is when you typically have those negotiations, and would want it wrapped up by 6 months. But then usually for this type of position, it takes approximately 6 months potentially to get a new position. Once we get past the 20 weeks, or into the 20 weeks before the deadline, basically eating into any severance that I may have. So I certainly want to stay here and want to continue to serve the citizens, but just giving kind of my perspective, it creates more uncertainty without having that longer time that's typically seen in these type of contracts.
Nick?
To respond to Mr. Crawford, when I didn't make that motion at the executive meeting because I assumed, and correctly assumed, that the severance would carry forward at the end of his contract. It wasn't until after that meeting that I learned that I was incorrect. That's why I made the motion tonight.
Any other comments or questions?
Hey, at this point where we're at, I support what we originally come up with out of executive, so that's where I stand.
So, any more questions on the amendment? So the amendment is to eliminate that 4-week severance at the end of the contract.
The additional 4-week severance.
additional,
Just
yeah.
added, not the 4-week severance that was in the original.
So I said at the end of the contract, yes. So, all those in favor of eliminating that signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're going to do a roll call.
Atkins.
Aye.
Crawford.
Aye.
Deppert.
Aye.
Mark Goddard.
Aye.
Sam Goddard.
Yes.
Graff.
No.
Hall. Harris. Sorry. Hopkins.
Aye.
Josting. Longfellow.
No.
Mennel.
Yes.
Mingus.
No.
Nelms.
Yes.
Pageant. Braille.
No.
Rich Stinson.
No.
Schmidl.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sen.
No.
Stahl.
Yes.
All right. So that amendment is deleted from the contract. Back to the original motion with that eliminated. Any other comments or questions on the contract? It's amended. That's been taken out, yes. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Sam? So noted. Motion passes. All right, the bills have been sent out by Hannah. I hope you've had a chance to review those. The calendar of meetings is in our packet. Can I get a motion to approve that? Motion by Deppert, second by Nelms. Any changes? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Just a couple of quick announcements. I just learned today that some of you old timers, Indian Creek landfill opened up
Oh my God.
20 years ago this month. So I know a couple of you were on here, and so we do have a building meeting in which we'll select the schematic next Wednesday, the 7th. The plans are in your packet. F4 came out of property committee, but as you have questions, please try to get those answered. Eric Schmidl, thank you for the memo that you sent out to all the board members regarding the debris of solar farms. That's something we need to consider. And then finally, Sheriff Lauer, I have a compliance report here from the state of Illinois, and you are non-compliance issues, none. So you run a great jail. So thank you, Jeff. With that, we are in recess until August 28th. Thanks, everyone.